Long ago, in the ancient land of Persia, there lived a just a merciful king. He ruled with fairness, and the people loved him dearly. His son Prince Rehman was brave and noble, just like his father. The king had one great passion hunting. One summer morning, he ordered his men to prepare for a hunt. Horses were saddled, weapons readied, and the king set out with his guard and ministers into the forest. One day he hunted lions, leopard, and deer by giving his men prepared to return. But before they had gone far, the king spotted a magnificent deer. Excited, he drew his bow and let an arrow fly, but the deer leaped away unharmed. Frustrated, the king spurred his horse and chased after it. His horse was swift. As soon he was far ahead of his guards. Again and again he loosed his arrows, but the deer escaped into the thickets. Darkness fell and thought angry at his failure. The king turned back. Just then he heard the sound of a woman weeping in the silence of the night. Following the voice, he found a beautiful woman sitting beside an old well. Her golden hair fell over his shoulders, her face pale as ivory, but her clothes were torn and ragged. Who are you, lady, and why are you whipped in the lonely forest? Asking the king kindly. The woman wiped her tears and said, O king, I came from neighboring land. When my father died, my uncle seized and our property and abandoned me here to be devoured by wild beasts. The king's hair softened, having lost his queen many years ago. He decided to make his woman his new queen. Her name was Nagina. He placed her upon his horse and took her to places. Soon he married her. His celebration lit up to kingdom. But no long after, the king fell gravely ill. Physicians from across the land tried every cure, but none could heal him. His face grew pale, dark circles shadowed his eyes, and his strength faded away. Worried Prince Rehman sought the counsel of the kingdom's greatest astrologer who lived in the cave beyond the city. The astrologer cast the calculations and said gravely, O prince, the king's illness came from none other than a new queen. She is not a woman, she is a disguised and venomous creature that has lived for centuries. Shock Rahman asked, How can that be? The astrologist explained, 10 years ago, your father killed a black cobra and his forest. The serpent was the brother of this queen. She has now taken human form to take revenge. Instead of striking him at once, she slowly poisons him so that he suffers before death. And the prince drew his sword. Then I shall kill her at once. But the astrologer warned, No, my prince, she is cunning. If you attack her in human form, she will strike you instead. You can only kill her when she takes her you from a serpent, and for that you must trick her. The astrologer gave Rahman a small pout of medicine. Mix this in his drink tonight. It will make her unbearably thirsty at midnight. Remove the water from the king's chamber. Lock the door and then wait. She will be forced to reveal her true form. The night Rahman followed the instruction. He slipped the power into the Nagina's drink, emptied the water jar from the chamber. He locked the door from outside. Then, with bow and arrow ready, he hid near the window. At midnight, Nagina awoke burning with thirst. Finding no water, she grew desperate. Finally, she slithered to the floor, and in an instant her body transformed into a giant black cobra. The prince trembled but stayed hidden. The serpent slipped thought a drain toward the placed garden. Rahman followed careful and silent. Rahman followed careful and silent. In the moonlight garden, he saw her drinking from the fountain, then hissing loudly. She glided into the forest. Rahman shadowed her until she reached a cave. There she gave a piercing hiss from inside the cave. Emerged a monstrous serpent, an instant king cobra, its eyes glowing like fire, its tongue flickering like lightning. The two serpents dancing together, twisting the coiling in a terrifying embrace. From the safety of a tree, Rahman aimed his bow when Nagina turned back toward the cave. Her hood lifted high. The prince let loose an arrow. It struck her square in the head. She writhed in agony, hissing, half transforming back into her human form before collapsing lifestyle to the ground. The king cobra, furious, charged out, breathing fire, burning, burst in the path. Rahman quickly loosed another arrow, striking one eye, when another blinding it. The great serpent thrashed wildly, smashed tree and rock, until at last the prince drove a flaming arrow through its skull. The beast fell dead. Inside the cave, Rahman found piles of human bones, the remains of the serpent, many victims. From the slain cobra, he cut out a shining serpent jewel, now absorbed poison. Carrying Nagina, half human, half serpent body, back to the place, Rahman awakened his father and told him everything. The king shuddered at the thought that he had married such a creature. Rahman then pressed the serpent jewel to his father's lips, and it drew out every trace of venom from his body. The king was healed. The queen's corpse, however, burned into ashes, leaving nothing but dust. The grateful king embraced his son and declared, "You risked your life to save me and this kingdom. From this day forth you shall rule in my place." Thus Prince Rahman ascended the throne, while the old king devoted his remaining year to prayer and remembrance of God. And so ends the tale of the serpent queen of love, betrayal, courage, and justice. Imagine of the tale of the serpent queen.